Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the newest member of the adventure family. This is the Kove 800X Pro. It's a name you might not have heard of, but so are all things before they leave a giant crater in the human experience. It's a handsome machine, with a handsome color TFT dash that gives a great cinematic experience when the bike is turned on. Oh, and it's Chinese, but you really wouldn't have noticed. And with that, we have brought in an adventure expert to give it a go.
Don phoned me up. Hey, we're giving the new Kove Adventure. How would you like to ride it? I like anything new. Please take note, it's a Kove. I've been picked out several times for that, and it's spelled with a K. Guys, short review today. We've taken it from the home to here, from the shop in Pretoria. Light, quick, smooth, narrow, and the nicest thing of the lot is very easy to get your feet on the floor, which is what I find on a lot of adventure bikes. Sometimes you feel a little bit intimidated because you tend to pedal it a little bit. As a result, riding rockier terrain like this becomes a little bit easier. This is the Kove 800. They've packed it with features. One start starting. Donovan's shown you the display already at the beginning of the show. It's thoroughly up to date. You can turn off the traction control forever, which is quite cool. It's unlike other bikes where you turn it off and then every time you turn it on again, you've got to scroll through to turn it all off. This remembers where it was. This bike doesn't have a quick shifter. It does, however, have rider mode, which is very cool, and it's completely up to date. What you see is what you get. You get the crash bars, you get the skid plate. We like what we see.
Sounds good so far, and at a price of 210,000 Rand, it's sort of in the mix.
Alright guys, so today we get to ride the new Kove 800 adventure bike. Lots of things I really do like about it. Like that one touch start, that's a cool touch. The fact that I can get my feet on the floor easily, that's a nice touch. The fact that, I'm going to close this, the fact that the bike feels narrow and slim, I like that. The fact that I can stand up without being spread eagled, I like that. They really seem to have kind of dotted the I's and crossed the T's.
While most Chinese motorcycles concentrate on easy and affordable transport, the guys at Kove are racing nuts, which is why the brand has started and completed the Dakar Rally. It doesn't get more challenging than that. In fact, it may be a little bit too much for our expert.
It's going to change the mode from sport. You'll see what I mean. Sport is really abrupt. It's quite twitchy. Fine when it's kind of flat and even like this, but the moment it gets a bit squirrely, it's quite abrupt. Right, let's see what we can do. I'm just going to change it quickly, and what I also really appreciate is the fact that the electronic suite on this bike is really simple. So I'm just going to show you. We go ride mode, you go enter. It says would you like sport or eco. I'm going to say eco. Enter. It's in eco mode. It's that simple. Economy mode obviously uses less fuel, but it makes the throttle a little bit less abrupt. But it still goes. You can see.
Not that eco mode on this bike is much of a problem.
And that's in eco mode, guys. It snarls. The engine sounds fantastic. I wouldn't change the exhaust on this thing. I'm not sure that that's what the guys from Off-Road Cycles want to hear. They'd like to sell your pipe, and I bet you they'll sound amazing. But the stock pipe just sounds perfect.
More so, as Glenn pointed out, there's an option to leave the traction control off forever, which is brilliant. The Japanese and Europeans don't do that because in those countries, people can sue you because they are stupid. Like in Africa, that doesn't work in China. If you do something stupid, it's your fault. The motor is an 890cc parallel twin, producing 95 horsepower and 80 Nm of torque. Those are familiar figures, because this motor is from a 790 KTM, built in China. Like all 790 motors, That's not bad at all.
Right, absolute wrong gear, overcooked into the turn, but yeah, brakes did their job. See how we go.
The brakes are also a copy of Nissan calipers and feel pretty much the same. You can turn off the rear ABS, leaving only the front working, which is a much better bet.
Another two things that I really do like, it's got proper KYB suspension. This bike only has 800 and odd Ks on it, so I doubt whether it's even running yet. But you can see I'd probably like to spend a bit of time setting it up. A little bit stiff for me. I'd like to soften it up, but you know that with a screwdriver you have the ability to do that. It's pretty straightforward.
With 240 millimeters of suspension travel on the rear, the Kove is in fact a class leader in that regard, with more travel than a 790 KTM or even a Yamaha Tenere 700.
Hit a nice little rut there, bike just kind of whizzed through. Take it down into these power lines. I know there's a big rut down here, let's just see. Slow it down, lead off the speed a bit. I'd hate to be the first guy to crash this bike. Now here's the beauty of a smaller bike. You might remember I took that 1190 across here the other day, and this was actually quite daunting on a big bike. The 700, 800, no problem.
More facts: the frame is a dual wing beam type, the front wheel is 21 inches, and the entire bike has a claimed wet weight of 185 kilograms, although actual scales put that closer to 195, which still makes it a class leader.
In terms of ergonomics, the seat is comfortable. I know that a lot of people don't like the step seat. It hasn't bothered me in the slightest, and we spent about 3 or 4 hours riding this afternoon. What I find, personally, the bars are maybe a little bit narrow. I would probably like to just fit a slightly higher bend, but that's everyone's for their own personal thing. You can adjust these. Yeah, you just have to play with setup on any bike that you buy. That's what you're going to do. One thing I need to comment on, guys. Does this bike feel Chinese? The answer is a resounding no. Fit and finish is excellent. The little covers are all in place. The bolts have stayed tight. Nothing is rattled or shaken. And in my humble opinion, they've done a really good job.